What stopped you from killing yourself? My sister called me. She never just calls me randomly without texting first. I was crying so hard I couldn't speak. She said, "Stay where you are, I'm coming get you." Changed my whole life after that. Quit my job, moved home, left toxic relationship, and am now in college to better myself. I'm so glad she called. Not suicide, but after my brother's suicide I was coping hard with alcohol and my sister was the only one who caught it. She pulled up on me at my house that was not taken care of well at the time. We smoked a few joints, agreed she wouldn't tell my mom, told me she couldn't have her only remaining brother commit slow suicide and came back the next day to help me clean my house. It was super embarrassing to be seen that vulnerable, but I was high functioning and good at hiding shit, so it probably saved me more than I even realize. I managed to chill the fuck out, accept the help I was being offered by my inner circle and turn it around. I'm still not in a great place mentally, but I'm doing better. I still drink socially, but in moderation, never at home and never when I'm in a bad headspace. The fear of botching it and ending up in an even worse place is a big one. That's what saved me. I fuck up everything I touch. Why would that be any different? I even had the gun to my head a few times. The thought of waking up without a face or with brain damage and knowing how much worse I just fucked everything up. It's a low I can't even imagine, and I've been in some pretty dark places. A friend messaged me randomly out of the blue to tell me how much they appreciated me. They felt a disturbance in the force. The day my friend died I called her on my lunch break and she didn't answer. I had a weird feeling and searched for her mom's number in my phone but couldn't find it. I later found out she killed herself the night before and had probably been gone for a few hours at that point. I'll never forget that day. Made eye contact with the train driver and my issues weren't his fault. I couldn't saddle him with that. I remember not being able to see a driver when I stood in front once. Later I realized maybe he hid to not see and it broke my heart. Also his honking seemed so desperate, uneasy face. I still feel bad about it. I honestly don't know. I was there, in the moment, ready to do it, and then I just didn't. My Saint Bernard placed his chin on my leg and looked up at me. He somehow knew. I went to the train tracks every night, getting closer to them every time, just waiting till I had the courage to jump. One time, I felt it was a 50-50th chance that it could all end right then and there. A train drove by and I saw the driver's face so clearly. It made me snap out, I don't know why. But he looked at me and I was basically a step away from death. I just saw him for a second, but that was enough. My cat. She probably wouldn't understand why I'm not there anymore. She gets sad when I go to work. I can't imagine how she'd be if I literally ceased to exist. My poor baby. My eccentric neighbor used to help himself into my place if I left a slider open in college. He was like a Kramer neighbor. It was friendly, not creepy. Anyway, I was on my way upstairs to my door to jump the balcony, and here he comes full of smiles, following me inside to tell me about some new up-and-coming thing he found on the internet. His upbeat energy and company kept me hostage long enough to reconsider. The quote from Lord of the Rings, "No parent should have to bury their child." Now I couldn't when Mom sacrificed so much of herself for me and my sis. Sucked it up and pushed through. Spite. Sheer unbridled spite. I wanted my rapist burned, buried, and in hell before I considered dying. I have him in jail, so the dead and buried part is a work in progress. I attempted suicide twice after my girlfriend died. Both times I stopped myself because I told myself that my nephew needs an uncle and that I'd just be making things harder for my family. Ironically, today is the 4-year anniversary of her death. Update: I really wasn't expecting this comment to blow up the way it did. It's not a topic I can easily talk about. The healing is extremely slow still, and I purposely drown myself in work just to distract myself. I just don't want anyone to go through this kind of thing, and if they do, they don't sink like I did.